Assalamualaikum and very good day to everyone. So in this video, I'm going to explain about text review, which is your third assignment for academic writing. Last week, we are done with the understanding of review. We talk about different kinds of review. And towards the end, we focused on text review, which is your assignment due next. Right. So today I'm going to explain about how do you write a text review. Okay. So let's go. All right. So we will follow the sequence of the paragraph. So the first paragraph is your introduction paragraph. So this is where you will explain the title of the text and also mention the author's name. All right, so you can write by, you can follow the samples given here. This article is titled, you mention the whole title, written by, mention the last name of the author, and was published on the WebMD website in June 2020. All right, it depends. Um, your source would tell you whether this is actually an online article or whether it's taken from any other sources, so you can mention accordingly. So if it's an article that appears in a certain website, you can mention, as you can see here, on the WebMD website. Okay, and when was it published? June 2020. Okay, follow your source. All right, and then you can mention the purpose of the text review. Okay, what is the purpose of you reviewing the text? Are you going to explain some benefits of something? Are you going to explain the causes of something? Depends on the content of the article. All right, and you can also mention, we talk about genre, right? So in this context, you can mention the topic of the article. Is it health related? Is it something to do with sports or something to do with artificial intelligence? All right, so that one will be depending on the content of the article that you choose. Okay, this article is intended for, who is the article written for? Okay, you can know by, if it's from a website, you can know who would actually go to the website. Okay, is it only people from a certain professional background, or can it be anyone, the public, who would like to seek for some information? For example, if you have certain symptoms, right, of some disease symptoms, so sometimes you Google, right? So when you Google, you have some search results, and when you click to one website, you read an article to get more information. So that means you are a public member who seek for information to satisfy uh, your inquiry, something that you are not sure of. So when we don't know something, we normally Google, right? Okay, so you can mention whether the article is intended for a specific group of people, or can it be the general public, right? Depending on the difficulty level of the text and the subject matter. Okay, if it talks about certain research work, where the content talks about some findings. So is it actually meant for general public? I don't think so, right? So read your article and decide who is the intended audience. All right, so this is for paragraph 1, introduction. So moving on to paragraph 2, sorry, this is supposed to be paragraph 2. So this is the body paragraph. This is where you summarize, you give a brief explanation about the content of the text. Okay, mention what is the field or subject matter of the text. You can use these phrases. This text explains about what? Okay, basically, in order to write this sentence, you have to understand what the text is about, get the main ideas, get the main points, the direction of the text. Okay, and once you have done this, you can continue. In it, Mary brings to our attention to the what? Mary here is an example of the author. So let's say the author's name is Mary. So you can mention the author's name. So meaning you can say that in this article, Mary explains about what. Okay, so this is one of the phrases that you can use. Of course, you can come up with your own phrases. These are some samples to help you. Okay, the author also highlights. All right, you may not want to mention the author's name, so you can simply use the word the author. Right. These are the variation. Okay, you want to make your sentences variety, right? So this is one of the option. The author also highlights. What else you can put? You can mention the author continues to share blah 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 blah, whatever. All right. Okay, this is when you are explaining the summary. Okay, the main ideas of the text. All right. Next is the third paragraph, which is the most critical paragraph, where you evaluate the text. Okay, remember I mentioned that how does a product description differ from review? Okay, they are different in the sense that a review would include evaluation, your evaluation or your judgment about the thing that you review. So now, and this is where you give your personal comments. Okay, so when you want to highlight that this is your personal point of view, right, you can use this phrase, in my viewpoint, right? So maybe if this one can serve as a disclaimer, you can mention that, well, this is my point of view, others may think differently, right? So, and then why do or don't you think the text beneficial or add knowledge to you? So this is your evaluation. If the article is talking about something that you already know and there's nothing new that you have learned from the text, you can mention that, right? And if you have, if you have got to know something extra, something new that you think have added some knowledge in you, you can do that. You can mention that. All right. You can talk about the organization of the content, whether the content, the ideas are presented very systematically, and whether or not some of the points shared are what. Maybe you want to highlight some of the points are very refreshing, or some of the points shared are very what can you say, um, enlightening, or because you feel that, well, before this I've never known that this thing can actually do so many things for us in our lives, for example. Okay, and you can actually quote some example or an example. All right, for example, you can mention here. Okay, and then you can use phrases like this. I feel the text can be improved by. Okay, so this is when you're highlighting what are the strengths or the drawbacks of the text. Okay, as you view the text, right, you can comment whether it is a very good text or is it something very weak. Okay, so you may want to suggest what can be improved so that the article can be more beneficial to readers. Okay, and what is your suggestion? Okay, and then finally, when you do a review, people would normally end with recommendation. I mentioned this last week. So it's up to you whether you're going to recommend it or not. So if you're going to recommend, you may want to customize your recommendation to a certain kind of people, right? So this is the phrase that you can use. I would recommend this text to people who wish to know more about coronavirus, for example. Okay, so this is sample of phrases, words that you can use. But of course, there are more other options, but these are just some options and examples for you to start with. Right, I hope you are now clearer about how to write text review. So this week you may actually start to choose your text, which I will upload on ULearn. Choose one text and start reading and start, writing your text review draft. All right, I think that will be all. Thank you so much. Bye.